Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Movers and Shakers Global.
We are back with another phenomenal episode of Movers and Shakers Global with another phenomenal guest. And this time we have the guest all the way from Puerto Rico.
Yes. Welcome, Pedro.
Yeah, there's the flag, just in case anyone's confused.
There you go. So we are
Awesome.
really fortunate to have you here, Pedro. Thank you for joining us, and we will be in a great conversation with you. But before we do that, we just want to tell our viewers a little bit about what Movers and Shakers Global is all about.
Perfect.
So when we got this idea, we decided that we know a lot of amazing people all around us, and we thought, what is the best way of the way we can share these kind of people, these amazing entrepreneurs, business owners, beautiful people, and how can we share them with the world, basically. So these movers and shakers, they are powerful people who initiate events and they influence the world in their own possible way they can. They help everyone around. We thought this is really powerful, and we need to let other people know that, if you need help, if you need any kind of assistance, these are the people you need to reach out to because they're really genuine, authentic, real people. And that's why we started this program. And one of the main mission of these movers and shakers is that they help and they spread positivity around the globe. And now, in all these uncertain, unprecedented times, we know that we really need that positivity. We need that compassion. We need that love. And we thought this is the best way to start by introducing some of these amazing people who are in our lives and fortunate to be our friends and grateful to have them in our lives. So, Pedro Cardona, welcome to our show.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. I mean, I'm so fortunate to know you guys. I mean, we were just talking a minute ago, and I can't believe it's only been a year that we've met each other. It feels like lifetimes, which I'm sure that's the case. But
Yeah.
it's amazing, and I love the mission and what you guys are doing and bringing people that are causing an impact, that are helping others, and that are actually improving and just being a good example for others, right? Because we see so much garbage out there, but the reality is that garbage is just what the media wants to show. The reality is most people are good. I mean, like 98, 99%, and we're all doing, like many of us are doing such amazing things and creating an impact. So that's what we really need to show in the media, and that's what we really need to bring out. So thank you for doing this. It's amazing.
Awesome,
You're welcome,
awesome.
and thank
Yes.
you for joining us today because, like you said, we met just a year ago,
Yeah.
and it almost feels like we know you from forever, right? You and your beautiful family, your beautiful daughter, your wife, Alex, and congratulations are in order because you are going to be blessed with another beautiful child. So,
Yes, another girl.
yeah.
Wow,
Yes.
awesome.
We can't wait to see her. We can't wait to hold her. So
Yeah, going to be another amazing child. And of course, you guys have your own two amazing, I mean, so powerful. Your kids are just like mind-blowing. I love hearing them talk, and even at the seminars when they share and then when they talk, it's just amazing. So yeah, well done.
Pedro.
thank you
very much.
you.
So it's really awesome to have you because the more that we know you and the more that we understand what amazing things you've done. I mean, you started, you were as an employee, you started and you were actually doing quite good, but then you transitioned yourself out of that job into a business. And your specialty being real estate, I mean, you are doing so actively amazing right now in real estate. You can really be a mentor to a lot of people. You definitely are an idol of a lot of people, what they want to achieve in this area of real estate investing.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the strategies that you have sort of figured out where you have made a lot of money for yourself. I mean, I got some of the numbers of you, what success you shared with us, and you made all that money for yourself, but the basis of that money is because you've made a lot of money for others in order for that money to be made for yourself.
Right. This isn't a a single sport, right? It's not like one person. It's always a team. It's impossible really to do business without people, because either you have to do business with people, for people. I mean, there's no way around it. So it inevitably causes a ripple effect and an impact. I mean, just yesterday I was at so I have a 5-unit building that we're currently remodeling. And so we're going to have 3 apartments long-term and 2 short-term we'll do Airbnb. And just being there and seeing, okay, so I have an AC crew working on the house. There's 3 guys. I have a kitchen cabinet crew working on the house. That's another 3 guys. Then I have my main contractor guy with another guy also working on the house. That was 2 guys. And I'm like, your impact, and people don't necessarily realize it, right? Because they don't see how, when you're in business, you're impacting so many. Because so that was 8 people. So we're impacting them. We're impacting their livelihoods, their families. Yeah, and that's not even counting the people we're buying materials from, right? So it's such a huge ripple effect when you decide to do business and just go for it. There's so much good that you create, and you get rewarded for it, because you should get rewarded for it, right? So it's pretty cool.
Absolutely. That's awesome, Pedro. So this journey that you've been from, starting from where you were and what amazing things you're doing right now, can you tell us how that journey has been, and what you learned through this journey, and what made you go on this journey?
Yeah, well, it's quite an interesting story. So I actually, when I graduated college, so I studied in the University of Puerto Rico I graduated chemical engineering. And from there, interesting. In between, before I left to work, because I got a job with the federal government in the States, in the Chicago area, as a nuclear engineer. So inspecting nuclear power plants. And so between that, I actually worked at a valet parking at a hotel, because I was like, I'm not just going to wait and do nothing. I'm make some income, make some money. So I'm a graduated chemical engineer, and I'm working valet parking at a hotel. It was so funny, because one day this lady comes up and says, because I'm like, this is the way I am, right? So I people notice me or whatever, and I'm very friendly. And so this lady comes up to me and she's like, how are you working in valet? And I'm like, well, actually, I'm a chemical engineer. I'm just working here until I start working in my job. So she was a little bit shocked, because she was like she did not expect that. So that's kind of cool. So then I moved to the States, started working, and I kind of almost immediately, I started looking at other things. So I first started reading about stocks and reading and watching shows on stocks and just seeing all that area. And then one of my best friends was also a real estate investor, Joel Aponte. He's actually he was the best man for my wedding. I was the best man for his. We graduated college together. And he's also an entrepreneur. He recommended a book, and Rich Dad Poor Dad. He said, check out this book, right? And so I read that book, and immediately I was like, okay, forget stocks. I want to do real estate. And so that got my journey started. It was crazy. Then we went to a series. So at that time, they were offering these free seminars in the Chicago area. And it's like, they make you think Robert Kiyosaki is going to be there, right? So they intend so it's
my God, same story, yeah.
Of course, there's so many of us that have gone through that same path, right? It's so funny. So you think Robert Kiyosaki is going to go there, you go, and it's a pitch fest, and you're like, okay, and so what is this? And this is like the first thing now I'm completely involved, right, in going to seminars and all that. At that time, I didn't know this even existed. So I go, oh, okay, so Kiyosaki's not here. and then we're selling this weekend program. And we're like, well, I mean, let's buy it. Let's give it a shot. And a bunch of people there didn't do it. And we're like, well, I'm going to do it. And then I did the weekend. And then obviously for that weekend, which you paid for, then it's another pitch fest to sell you these courses which you pay a bunch of money for. Right. And I was again, I was completely oblivious. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And so we went there. and we bought a package of 4 courses with a mentor flying out.
Oh,
That
wow.
cost us like $30-something thousand,
Yeah.
which we put on like 5 or 6 different credit cards.
Wow.
And we did it. And we did that specific one because of the mentor, because we knew we needed a mentor because we didn't know what we were doing. So we did the classes, and within those classes, we met a bunch of people. And actually through that, we met John Swarsinski, which is kind of how we really started investing in real estate. So through that, we met John, and then he later connected us with Mayor, which is how we know each other.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's been crazy. It's like all these connections. And so then through John Swarsinski, through his company, Eye Candy Homes, they were doing coaching, like real estate coaching.
Right.
And so we joined that coaching program, and we did a flip with them. So it was like partnering with them, and it was amazing. So our first deal was partnering with Eye Candy Homes with John and Janelle, and Kirby was at that time, Steve Budzik. I mean, just an amazing team.
Yes.
Awesome.
Wow.
Awesome.
That's how we started. That's how we started, like actually doing it. Because before that, it was just reading, studying, and sometimes it's hard to get out of that, right? Like you're learning how to do it, but okay, when do you actually do it? When do you actually swing? When do you actually shoot the ball? So, and we were blessed enough that we met amazing people. We've been and just like we met you guys, it's been awesome just connecting with so many amazing people and kind of helping our journey along. And that's it's our turn to do that, right? It's our turn to pay that back and bring others along to show them what's possible. And obviously, like, we're not even at a fraction of what we're going to achieve and what we want to achieve, but we know we can help. And that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. You said it all, Pedro, because we have been so fortunate to connect with you, your family, John, Janelle, and Steve, and Ashley, and all these wonderful people. And we were able to connect it because of Mir, because, Karen and Raymond, they introduced us to Mir. So we're so grateful to even Karen and Raymond, because if they hadn't introduced, we would not be knowing you all. And it's so wonderful to be around these amazing, beautiful people.
Yeah.
And it's been a beautiful journey, and we're just getting started.
We're just getting started. That's true.
Exactly. Yeah, it's so cool because like when we go, so the webinars and seminars that we do, right? There's people from so many different types of businesses, right? Yeah. So we know people that are in real estate, people that are in just manufacturing, people that are in charities, people that are in oil. I mean, it's crazy, like, right? The type of people that we get to meet from all over the world. It's like the freaking United Nations.
Yes.
We literally have friends all over the world, which is amazing.
Which is awesome. Yes.
So Pedro, right now, I mean, that's amazing. You had a beautiful journey. That's really inspiring from, where you started. And now what's your main thing right now? Like, what type of real estate are you mainly doing right now?
So I'm continually to do flips. I still do flips. I mean, we're doing very well with those. We're only working in Puerto Rico, so we do flips in Puerto Rico. We just closed the deal two Saturdays ago, where the return was 64%.
Oh, wow!
So that was the return on one deal. So we bought it for 62 about with closing costs. Repaired it for 16,800 about, and sold it for 135.
Wow,
that's amazing.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so it was like a really good deal, and it's funny because it was an auction property. We bought it at an auction, and this is the great thing about being married and being aligned and on the same team. So Friday night, Alex asked me, and obviously this has all been with Alex, right? Alexandra is like, she's like the stable date. I'm always there. And we've been doing this together.
Right.
So the Friday night before, so there was an auction Saturday. I didn't get the chance to see any of the properties for the auction. And so Alex is asking me on Friday, hey, so are we going to buy any properties at the auction? And I'm like, well, no, because I didn't get a chance to see any, but I have a friend and a business partner that he was going to go to the auction. And then I told her, well, we will just invest with him if he gets any properties.
Wow.
And then, So I had that in my mind. And so the next morning I woke up and I told Alex, let's go see properties. So the auction was they say they start at 9, but I already know they start late. Right. So we actually left home like around 10. We drove to see 3 properties. I did a list of 3 properties I wanted to see. The first property I saw sucked. It was like horrible. Okay. So this was around 10:30. The auction was, I called my buddy and he said they were about ready to start. So I went to see them in order of when they were appearing in the auction. Okay. So then the second property, I went to visit it. So the first one, we both got out the car. We had a newborn baby. She was like, Alina was like 5 months at the time.
Wow.
And so the first property sucked. Alex was like, no way. So the second one, and then Alex stays in the car with the baby. She's like, let me know if it's any good. So this was way up in the mountains. It was kind of tricky to get there. But then once I get to the house and I go into the house and I'm like, this is it. This is the one we're going to buy. So I tell Alex, I say, she comes in and she goes sees the property and she's as excited as I am. We're up in the mountains, an amazing view. You can even see the cruise ships when they're coming by.
Wow, crazy!
It was beautiful. And so I call up my buddy and I say, hey, so we can. I did quick comps, just looked at the market, whatever, and I told him, hey, so we can pay $60,000 for this property. I think we're gonna spend about $15,000 on the rehab. There's not a lot to do, and then I'm thinking I could go a little higher. I told him we could go a little higher, but let me know just in case. And so then I call him up like 3 minutes later and he says, hey, congratulations, you won it for $59,000.
Wow.
And I'm like, awesome. And so right there, I went to see another property. That one wasn't any good either. And then went right to the auction. That way we could put in our deposit for the house that we got. So we bought it for like 62, and I was right spot on. I mean, my repairs were 16,800. From that estimate, I said 15,000 just quickly. Right. So I was pretty good, pretty close. I know what I'm doing, right? So
yeah, that's pretty good.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was really good.
Yeah, brilliant, Pedro.
Nice story. Super. Very good.
Yes.
Well, so and also so flips. So you were asking about what our business is. So we're doing flips, and then we also have rental property. So we have a 5-unit building. The return on that one is about 27% per year.
Okay.
So we're already positive. We've had it for 5 years. So
nice.
Right now it's free money, right? Because we don't have any money into it. Now we put around 100,000 into it between down payment, closing costs, and our rehab. So around 100,000, and it nets us around 2,500 a month.
Wow.
One building. And so, I'm sorry.
That's amazing. That cash flow.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's so much opportunity here for cash flow. People don't even realize it.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to have a video with Karen probably next week, talking a little bit more about that and how we can offer this to people, this opportunity to invest and buy here with us here in Puerto Rico, because the opportunity is amazing.
Wow.
So we also do Airbnb too. So I mean, that 27% is just considering normal rents. With Airbnb, it's definitely better.
It's higher, yeah.
Wow,
that's amazing. This is really good.
I love the strategy that you put it to Airbnb, right? So after when you buy it, that's really amazing. For the return on investment, I think that's one of the best strategies to be.
Yeah, I mean, Airbnb, it's usually at least double what I would get for normal rent.
Nice.
Sometimes even triple. Nice. So it just depends, but on what the current circumstances are. But yeah, we've done very well with Airbnb. It's been really good.
Awesome! Wow, what phenomenal successes! Well done, Pedro. Well done.
Thank you. Geez, I've got to tell you the story of after the hurricane. Actually,
yes.
Yeah. So, well, actually, I think one of like the questions that you had pointed out was like what difficulties or something that we've had. So obviously, here in Puerto Rico, in 20, I don't even know what year, 2018, I think, 2017. We had a hurricane. I can't even remember what the year was. So we had a major hurricane. I mean, it was like disastrous for Puerto Rico. Unfortunately, a lot of people died and all that, right? Which is always, of course, very unfortunate. But so we went through that and we moved. Like, it was like, for us, it was amazing. Like, it was, honestly, it was exciting because it was like, you move or you sink kind of thing, right?
Wow.
So we were like, we sold generators. Like, we got power generators. So we didn't have power for at least 3 months at my house.
Goodness.
So we actually bought generators. We brought generators from Florida. We bought them from online and we sold them here. So that was like one of the things we did like immediately to create income and cash. And luckily my wife, so she's also a chemical engineer and she has her job and that continues. So we had that flow of income constant. But we just kept creating on top of that. So we did the generators and then at that time, I had a 24-unit building that I had on a lease to own. So I was renting it with the option of buying it in the future. So a 24-unit building. And I had just got it. So I got it like in March or something like that. And the hurricane came in September.
Wow.
And so when the hurricane came, that was like a disaster because most people either didn't have jobs. The apartments, the first floor of those apartments flooded. So a lot of people, it was like horrible, right? So I down to about like 3 tenants in a 24-unit building.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so that was crazy. So then I was able to talk, like initially we were like, we're just going to get rid of it. Let's give it back to the guy. And I mean, let's keep doing other things, right?
Right.
But then the person that we had the lease to own with, he was like, well, like he kind of pushed us a little bit. And Alex too, she was like, let's give it a shot. And he helped us. Like we paid very little rent. Like we had a lease for, I think it was $8,000 or $9,000 a month. Okay. And then he brought it down to $1,500.
Oh, okay.
But then we had to do all the repairs, which was a lot of money in repairs because he didn't have insurance, which was crazy. So it's like a lot of things, right? Yeah. But most people like would have given up at that point because so now the building is empty and there's a bunch of repairs that need to be done.
Oh, wow.
And so we kept moving, we kept just doing what needed to be done, and we kept in communication with people we knew. And then there was a realtor that we knew that just in talking with her, just like a random conversation, we were talking to her and she said, well, I'm looking for a building which can house the electrical workers that are coming to help repair the grid.
Oh,
okay. And I was like, I have exactly the place you need.
Nice.
And so within nothing, we prepped the building. I mean, we spent a lot of money, and it was like, and it was like putting it on credit cards and cash and credit cards. So it was like using all our resources to make this go right. Mm-hmm. And so we bought like 22 AC units that we installed in the building new. We bought like 50 beds. Like twin beds. We bought heats. We bought, everything. It was like just everything that you would need. And then we had a friend that's a chef, and he has a restaurant. Uh-huh. And so we talked to him about doing catering, and he helped us, and he did the catering. So we paid him for that. We offered laundry service for the people that were there. We offered 3 meals per day for them, so they would have 1 meal in the morning. They would have a takeout brown bag, and they had dinner in the evening. So we did all that. We had cleaning service. It was like a hotel. Wow. And we had like 40 people in the building.
Wow, that's brilliant, Pedro, because, just to be able to identify opportunities, and especially in such times, it needs a lot of vision. Yeah.
It was tough. I'm not going to lie, but we did it. And even, it was crazy because like even our family would help, like my father-in-law, and my mother-in-law, like they went there to help us to get things prepped. And so I had a handyman at the time. And so it was a big team effort. Wow. And just on that, and unfortunately they left within a month because they were done or whatever. I'm not sure exactly the logistics.
Right.
But just on that, we made, I mean, the gross was about $600,000.
Wow.
Obviously, we had to pay for the ACs that we installed and the catering and the cleaning and all of that. But
Right.
still, I mean, it was amazing. And being able to, I mean, especially in a time like that, to be able to hire people to do that work, right? So, like I said before, what the thing I most admire about business people is that you're putting your own self and your capital at risk, and you're benefiting, of course, but you're not the only one benefiting. There's many other people that are benefiting because of that. And not just other people, there's also the government, because then the government's getting taxes from you, they're getting taxes from all the employees. I mean, it's a ripple effect that is amazing. So so I mean, I'm addicted to this. I mean, I love this game. It's such a fun game.
That's great. Wow, what a great journey there. And that's why you're on Movers and Shakers Global.
Thank you.
Oh, that's very, very, very inspiring,
great.
Pedro.
Yes.
Thank you for
Thank
sharing that. It's beautiful, really.
And Alexandra, like I said, she's been always a pillar. She's also always on this and creating. I mean, she's always there. So she's probably 60% of this.
And that's what makes it a great team, right? Like when you have your partner by your side and supporting you every step of the way is really, 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 really helpful.
Yeah.
Because for me also, it's been always, being an entrepreneur and being in business. But I now, being so many years in business, I cannot even imagine being in business all by myself. With Swapna being there at every business that we are involved in is just such an amazing thing to have such a business partner.
Yeah.
Working with you all the time.
Business partner for sure.
Yes, for sure. And the thing is, we've always been, even when we were working, like as an employee, like we started working together. So we've always been together. I don't know how many years. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So to have Alex, I'm sure it's such a blessing for you that she's always on your side. So yes, I can understand.
Yeah.
So something with you described to me the way that you became really successful, the way you're helping people right now. What would you say are the values that you developed in yourself? How did you change as a person? What did you have to develop in order to be more successful, would you say?
Shoo, that's a loaded question. You're going to kill me. I mean, there's so much to it, right? I mean, one of the main things really is just knowing that you can do it, because there's so much pushback, right, from the universe and from others doubting and from others' comments and from really the bullshit in the world, that you really need to be cemented and know that you can do it, right? And the great part of that for me is having Alexandra, having my wife, because even when at times I haven't believed in myself, she has. And so she's pushing me, right? And same thing with her. Right. There's been times when she hasn't believed in herself, but I've been there to help her and push her along and help her be better. Right. So yeah, I think that's really for me, like the biggest thing is just from knowing for me that it's real and that I can do it. Because if you just if it's just your surroundings, you're screwed, right?
Yeah.
With everything going on. I mean, I don't even watch TV. Like I avoid anything that I really can't control, right? And even on Facebook, like if there's someone posting like crap, like negative stuff, I'll just block them or erase them, or like, especially like with all the garbage going on right now, there's people that I know that are amazing, but they're posting garbage. And I'm like, well, let me give this guy a snooze for 30 days and he goes back to being himself.
Yeah, so, exactly. I saw your Facebook description. It says eternal optimist, right? Your Facebook description.
Yeah, that's true. I wrote that so many years ago. I haven't changed that.
Oh,
that was like probably 10 years ago that I wrote that.
That was really nice. When I was going through your bio and your info for this interview, I said, "Oh, that's so interesting."
Yeah, yeah, and it's obviously it's pushing to create that, because I mean, we're as beings, right? As spiritual beings that we are, we can't help but be that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is everything else. But we, as who we truly are, that's what we are, right? We're optimists. I mean, it's not even optimist, because there's nothing else, right? Optimist is comparing one thing to another, optimist and pessimist, right? It's not even optimist. It's like that's the only thing there is.
Right.
So it's a whole different viewpoint, and realizing that it's really a mental game. It's really a mental game. And for me, I mean, for us, it's been a cool journey, and we've been through different things. And I mean, I have so much more to do and so much more to go. Like, I always look up to people that have done so much more.
Yeah.
I was playing tennis with a guy today, and I told him, we were just chit-chatting and talking, and he does seminars, a speaker and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, like, and so we were playing over where in the subdivision where he lives, and it's like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, $10 million homes.
Wow.
And I told him, this is where I'm going to live someday. This is where I'm going to live, because this is where I want to be. And it was cool, because I just met this guy personally. He's like, well, you're going to do it, because right, that's that type of mindset that of the people that you're around and the people that you create, right? So it's really cool to see that. And for us, it's just not like I personally, I like talking about like business and money and what we've done, but also like the impact that we create, not just in the money loss side, but in the emotional side, our family, the help that we do for others, the things we do. Like after the hurricane, we did a bunch of things with like volunteer work. Like I was literally probably a couple weeks that I was doing volunteer work to help out after the hurricane with what was going on. I was like cutting trees and just getting stuff out of houses and cleaning and all sorts of stuff to help after the hurricane. And I mean, for me, that was what I needed to do. I didn't feel like, oh, I should do that. No, that's what I wanted to do, because I wanted to help, because I know I could, right? And that's kind of the game. I mean, it's so many things. We could talk for several hours.
No.
I know.
That's great.
And that's why the connection, Pedro, like the immediately, when we met your family, like it was that there was a spark, there was a connection right away, right? Because
Thank
it's
you.
like-minded people, we just attract each other. What can we say?
Yeah, exactly. And I guess that's one of the things I would like for people to get out of this, right? Because we're live on Facebook and whatnot. And I mean, you really create what's around you. And like what we've been working and continually looking to create people like you guys, people that we want to be around, people that, and success isn't just the money, right? It's a big part of it, of course. Yes. But the family, I mean, being married and having your family and your children and your friendships and what you contribute to society and all of that, it's not just one area. Because a lot of people get confused and think, oh, they're just talking about money or they're just interested in business, but that's not it at all. No. There's so much more in the spirituality and really I think it's really a responsibility for us to be who we truly are as spiritual beings that are created and creative and creators, right? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the spiritual side is like, to me, is like the most amazing part.
Yes.
It just, there's no limits. There's truly no limits. And a lot of times it's also the acknowledgement of what we already have, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. There is so much need for, I need to do this, I want this. And there's always that urge to keep looking somewhere else outside of you. Like
exactly.
You have that void and that vacuum created. But the fact is you already have that. Right? So if you try to get that joy, you try to get that success outside of you, and you will live forever. Right? So it's
Yep.
a really
Yep.
powerful realization and cognition that we've had in life. And by meeting people like you and mentors, amazing mentors, you've realized that success is just a perceived thing.
Yep.
Yeah. The same person in that zone might be so depressed because he does not have $10 million, and a person might be so happy making $10,000 because he has a good family, has good relationship. That might be success for that person.
Yeah. Yep. It's so true. It's so true. Yeah. And it's funny because even when you asked me for a bio, Swapna, and I was like, okay, let me put something together. And so I'm writing the stuff and I'm looking for information. I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. Like, validated. I didn't even really think much of it because you're in it, right? You're doing it.
Yes.
But then I look back and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool shit.
It is.
It is
fun.
All right.
The funny thing, the same thing when we had interview with Karen, our first guest. She was our first guest on Movers and Shakers Global, Karen Nolan, right? And she asked me to send our bio to her too, and we asked her, and she goes, do I even know these people? I've known these people for so long, but once they actually go through the bio, she's like, wow. So it's different when you actually write it down as don't even think about it. By the way,
it's crazy, and it's like we're so not trained to validate, right? I don't know what it is. Well, I mean, in society in general is like don't be a show off or whatever, right? But as a kid, you kind of tend to that, right? That's what you want to do, that, right? And then society kind of squashes it down because they're like, oh, you can't be like that. You can't be full of yourself. You can't be. But I mean, you should be, because you are everyone. Everyone should be. It's not like only you or I could be or should be. Everyone should be that way because everyone has that potential and is so amazing and is so powerful and can create such amazing things that why wouldn't we be, right?
Absolutely.
That's something that I've fought with and learned, and I guess relearned really after being squashed as a child throughout, and just kind of getting back to that and being just like chin up, right? Having the chin up. And it's not meaning that you have the chin up and you're making others go down. No, it's like it should all be like that. So
all chins up. Absolutely.
Exactly.
We have a lot of people who joined us, by the way, on Facebook Live, on YouTube. We have comments. Yes, Pedro, you're very, very popular.
I don't know that, but I guess we'll figure it out. I just have to validate it.
Well, that's good. That's good.
So that's amazing. But what would you say as we wrap this interview up? What would you say is your message? I mean, I know you are a real estate expert, so if you want to give some real estate message, otherwise you're also big time into spirituality. You're big time into understanding how mind really works. So any area that you think people need a message right now, what would that message be?
Well, given everything that's going on in the world, I'd say my main message is make sure that you are successful. Forget everything else that's happening. None of it is truly real unless you make it real. So you need to be successful. And first of all, you need to define what success means for you. But obviously, part of that, from my viewpoint, needs to be you as a spiritual being, how you improve yourself in that manner, and also the money. Because this world, it's the way things work in this current, and the way of life, right, that we live in. So you need to figure out the money. We need to figure out the money, because I honestly, I don't think you could really be spiritual without having money.
Yes,
that's so true.
And you can't be wealthy without being spiritual either.
Yeah.
And I'm talking, because when I'm talking about wealth, I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about everything. For me, wealth is in every area of my life. It's not just having money. It's having creating the body I want, working out, being healthy, being able to handle anything physically that is thrown at me, having my amazing wife and creating our relationship every day, creating the relationship with my children, family, and improving that every day, because anything that's not improving is going down.
Right.
So well, it's so important to start with yourself, because if you are not well, there's no way you can help anyone else.
Yes.
And so a lot of people get like tangled up in kind of like they have to do things for others and help others and help others and help others, but then they're in the shit.
Yeah.
You really need to help yourself for several reasons. You can do a lot more.
Yeah.
If you are well, if you're doing well, you can do a lot more. You can actually impact a lot more people.
Yes.
And you're also a good example for others to follow.
Mm-hmm.
Because people, I mean, whenever there's someone that's successful, I mean, there's always going to be people that criticize and hate and blah, blah, but I've never seen a successful person criticize another successful person.
Yes. That is
Because like I've never seen like, I mean, why? Because, and like true success, right? Like we're talking about all lives, all parts of life, because they know what it takes.
Right.
They've been through it. And so someone that's going for it, even go through all those struggles, they're not going to criticize it. Like us doing this video, some people will say, oh, look at, like, they think this, or like they're proud or arrogant or blah, 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 or look at all the money. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's all noise.
Yes.
Because coming from people that aren't looking to achieve more.
Right.
And like, that's what I would like people to realize is they need to achieve more. They need to do more, because everyone needs to be a good example for others and for future generations. So that's really my main message is start with yourself, because out of that, everything else comes.
Yes.
Wow. Love that message. Wow. That's really amazing, Pedro. Well said.
Message, Pedro. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Yes.
All right.
And the viewers and everybody, they really need to hear this message. They need to listen to the words.
Yeah.
It's so true. And especially now in, these difficult times, how many businesses have gone under, but I think the whole point is to keep on keeping on, and you are a true example, a great inspiration, especially for what you've been through. You were in such great difficulty, and now you've emerged out of that as a winner. And I think you are one of the biggest examples that people can follow.
For sure.
Thank you so much. As are you guys. I mean, you guys are so amazing. And I mean, and just your children, they're such a great example of what you are, right? Because your children are just so amazing. And obviously, you guys are the ones setting that example for them. So thank you guys for doing that.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone else. And thanks for doing this.
All right. Thank you very much for being the guest on Movers and Shakers Global. We truly, truly love you. We love your family, the kids. And we love you guys too. Thank you so much. It's so nice to have you in our family. Thank you. I love it.
Yes. Right. So say hi to your beautiful wife and a kiss to Alina, and we will hopefully meet each other soon once this is over. Yes. Can't wait.
Yes. Let's go somewhere. Let's just all go somewhere and do seminars somewhere else.
That will be the best day. Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
So thank you once again, Pedro, for joining today. It's been wonderful having this great conversation with you.
Thank you. Love you guys.
Love you. Mwah.
You too.
Bye.
Ciao.